just interested in what's going on here.
Why? Why are you interested in what goes on with her?
Do they call it love, or what do they call it?
Do they call it love? Are you love struck? Yes, I think that is the case. When we're interested in things in the world around us or whatever, facts, there is an interest that we have, an inclination towards, a disposition. I keep using that big word, but a disposition towards that thing. It captures our attention for some reason, and then it makes us want to pursue it. When we come to know how to do something, that is also very similar. All my life I've wanted to know this mystery of working with wood. I've wanted to understand it better. And so it's been an interest in my mind. It's something that I've found curious. And I wanted to know more about it. And so I'm trying to learn more about it. But when you look at other people, that often happens too. We can think, those of us who are married, especially, you know, when someone in particular caught our attention. I was just remembering the way Joanne tells their story of when Paul caught her attention. And, you know, someone has caught your attention, and you want to get to know them better. There's more than just an interest, though. It's not just a curiosity, and hopefully it's not something where you just say, okay, now that I figured that out, I'm bored, I move on to my next hobby, right? We don't just do that. But when we're dealing with people, and we really want to know who that person is, we often use that term love. We are invested in that person. There is a sense where we can love other things. When you're talking to someone who has devoted their life to one thing in particular, there's often, they will say, I love doing this. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. You know, if you talk to Pastor Delich and say, do you love being a pastor? He will answer almost with those exact words. I love being a pastor. I cannot imagine doing anything else. The work of the pastor, that's something he does, is something that he loves to do. And so he invests himself in it. So when we're talking about getting to know people, there's an idea of love, and I'll introduce it today, and we'll probably try to work it out a little bit more detail next time. But Deuteronomy 6 is a passage that is one of the more popular ones in the Jewish circles, but it comes up in Jesus' teaching as well. But Deuteronomy 6:4 says, this is Moses, but it's the Lord speaking through Moses to the people. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand. They shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And so this relationship that the people of Israel are supposed to have with the Lord, this is the name Yahweh here, the Yahweh our God, is one of love. If, and in Deuteronomy 10, I think it's Deuteronomy 10, Moses says, maybe we'll look at it next time, the Lord says, would that the people of Israel would have such a heart in them. Well, this is in chapter 10. Now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you? But to fear the Lord your God, we talked about that, to walk in his ways, that's to do our duty, and to love him, and to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and statutes of the Lord, which I am commanding you today for your good. But there's a spot in Deuteronomy where the Lord says, it's an aside, he says to Moses, that the people of Israel would have such a heart in them, that they would love me. Now, what is this relationship between love and knowledge? That's where we'll pick up next time. So, we'll come back to that piece. And we could say, I guess, in a closing illustration, there is, especially since it's talking about our spouses, there's a way in which when you come to spend many years with one person and you come to know them, you know them like nobody else. And it's not just because of the time spent, and it's not just because you see how they think about things or how they do certain things, but you come to see their perspective in the world by means of the things that they love and the things that they don't love, right? What they love and how they love it. And that's often how we talk about people's lives, people's legacies. This is what they loved to do, and this is what they did. And they devoted their time to that. So we'll pick up there next time and talk about this relationship between loving people and knowing people, but that as it pertains to God. So any other questions or comments you wanted to make?
Well, I had a guy I worked with, and I worked with him for a year or so, and I asked him about coming to church. He says, I will never go to your church. I said, well, why is that? He said, well, you know me too well.
Yeah. Well, and that's,
I said, well, that's why I asked you.
Yeah, there is always that. When I was, before I met Jennifer, I was a rather foolish freshman in college. I was really probably too young to go to college. And, but Doug McLaughlin, who's pastor of Fourth Baptist Church, he knew me back then. Now, this was 35 years ago? No, is that long? And could it be that long? And something like that. 25 years. 25. Well, it was before we were married. Yeah, so, yeah, 20, 30, it was over 30 years ago, 33 years ago. So this is 33 years ago. And to this day, if I see McLaughlin, Pastor McLaughlin, I think the first thing that comes into my mind is, he remembers me when I was 17. Now he probably doesn't. I'm probably thinking too much of myself and too little of him, but it's embarrassing that he would have known what I was like back then. I don't want anybody to know what I was like back then. I kind of want to hide that. Yeah, he knows me too well. So, all right. Anything else? All right, Paul, would you like to close us in prayer today?
Heavenly Father, we're just so thankful for you, for our Savior. We thank you for how you revealed yourself to us, and just that you desire a relationship with us. And Lord, just help us to know you better, to love you more. Just pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, come back next week and find out.